Hello, room 17. It's Miss Long, and here we are at day 32 of our distance learning journey. And today I thought it would be a good time to spend some time talking about dinosaurs. I do have some books that I wanted to share, especially one in particular called Dino Record Breakers. So I actually just got this book at our last book fair, and I wanted to share it with you when we were in the classroom together. Never got that chance, but hey, I can do it in this video. So I'll be sharing a few pages from that. It's much too long to be reading it in one sitting, so I thought we would make a little series out of it, and I'd be sharing with you more pages from this book on other days. And then I'll be ending our video with a cartooning activity, and I will be showing you how to draw a baby dinosaur. So here we go. Let me show you the book. I'm going to move this aside. And here we are, Dino Record Breakers, the biggest, fastest, and deadliest dinos ever. The author is actually listed inside on the title page. So his name is Darren Naish. He wrote Dino Record Breakers, and I can tell this is a very carefully researched book. So if you look, just like any informational book that I will show you, you have table of contents, and it tells you some of the topics and also the page where you can find it. There's even an index at the end too, which kind of works the same way. So this is a very handy resource for dinosaurs, a reference, right? And some of the topics that you'll see are very interesting. So there's the spikiest dinosaur, the brainiest dinosaur, smallest predator, the longest tail, the largest egg. All these are what we would call superlative adjectives, right? If we want to get technical, we have any word, any adjective that ends with est, like spikiest, that's like the most spiky dinosaur. If you were comparing it to all the other dinosaurs, and all these end with est, which is good to know, right? Okay. So I'll only be reading a few pages, but I'll start with the spikiest dinosaur. So every dinosaur in this book starts with a little fact file section, which is kind of cool. And it tells you the prehistoric period in which these dinosaurs lived, the Cretaceous period, and the size is 20 feet long. Its diet is herbivorous, so that means it only ate plants. It's an herbivore. And they even tell you the danger level. So it has a medium danger level. This is called the Edmontonia. Okay? And from the picture, it kind of reminds me from when I remember being a little girl reading tons of books about dinosaurs myself. It looks like an ankylosaurus. So that's another dinosaur that I remember being familiar with when I was younger. But this is the Edmontonia. So here's some more facts about this dinosaur. The spikiest dinosaur of all time is Edmontonia. And then they give you, this is a really cool or nice way that they show you how to pronounce the name. Edmontonia. Okay, spikes stuck out sideways from its body, but the long pointy spines on its shoulders and neck were most amazing of all. And you might wonder, what are these boxer gloves doing here? We'll find out. Short and spiky. Edmontonia had a wide body. Its back was flat and its legs were short and muscly. It would have been very difficult for predators such as a T-Rex to push it over in a fight. So here's another subheading, charge. Edmontonia's longest spikes curved forward. This dinosaur might have charged when faced by a predator, just like bulls and rhinos do today. And then they end with a diagram. So they point to the sharp-edged spikes. Definitely looks really spiky. Armor plates to protect the neck and the back, looks like. And then bony lumps around the eyes. So even the eyes are protected. Definitely a spiky dinosaur. Okay, let's find out what the next dinosaur is. This was the Edmontonia, the spikiest, and now we move on to the brainiest. Okay, so we might think, well, this must be a pretty smart dinosaur. Let's find out. Here's our fact file section. This is called a Troodon. They'll later tell you how to pronounce it down here, but I'm going to read the fact file section. So you can see its size compared to some humans. There's a full-size adult and a little child here. And it lived during the Cretaceous period. And the size is 8 feet long. Its diet was omnivorous, so that means it ate both plants and animals, or meat. And this danger level was medium. Okay, so here, let's read about the Troodon. Troodon was the brainiest dinosaur. Its brain was about as big as a tangerine. That might sound quite small, but it's big for a dinosaur. So just imagine that. I happen to have a little clementine, or like a tangerine, in my hand. So what I'm holding would be equal to the size of a Troodon's brain. How about that? Not very big. Brain power. Animals with bigger brains are better at communicating and remembering. For its body size, Troodon had the biggest brain of any dinosaur. Then here's another section, super senses. Most of Troodon's brain power was used for seeing and hearing. This helped to make it a very successful hunter. Okay, and then here's our diagram. Biggest eyes for its head size. The brain was at the back of the skull. It had a feathered body. So it's kind of interesting to think about this, but when I was a young girl and I read about dinosaurs, back then they did not know that some dinosaurs had feathered bodies, but now we do. So all the discoveries and the progress that people have made, scientists have made to discover about dinosaurs is pretty amazing. Okay, we've moved on to our last dinosaur for today, the smallest predator. And if you look at our fact file section, you see two humans, the adult and a child, and then you can barely see this little dinosaur. It's called the Anchiornis. Anchiornis, and it lived in the Jurassic period. Its size was 16 inches long, so it's a little more than a foot long. It was carnivorous, which means that it ate only meat, and danger level, it's none. So it really had no danger to anything, anybody, or anything. Here we go. Anchiornis holds the record for being the smallest known predatory dinosaur. It was only as big as a pigeon. So it was a mini hunter. People used to think that Anchiornis was a type of ancient bird, but it's really a bird-like dinosaur. It probably hunted lizards and insects. Okay, here's another subheading, Dinky Dragon. Another tiny predator is Meilong, which was about the size of a duck. Its fossil was found curled up, and its name means soundly sleeping dragon. So this is a diagram of the Anchiornis. It had sharp teeth, 3 clawed fingers, and you can see it's right at the corner or the joint of that wing. And then you have long feathers. So very interesting dinosaur. And I keep thinking it's a bird, but no, it's actually a dinosaur. All right, so we don't have any more time today just to read any more of this book, unfortunately, but I'm going to set up a poll on Google Classroom with some suggestions of which dinosaurs to read about next. So I'll post these on Google Classroom, and you can vote on your favorite and see which topic you'd like me to read next in a future video. How about that? So you have a chance to give me some idea of what you want next in our daily messages. But for now, I'm going to move on to our cartooning activity, and I'm going to show you how to draw a baby dinosaur. So I've got my paper in like portrait orientation, not landscape. This would be landscape, but I want portrait orientation. And I'm going to start by drawing an oval shape. Now what this oval is going to be is part of an egg, because this baby dinosaur is just coming out of its shell. So I'm going to draw 2 dots just to get started and to place this egg and to get the size that I want. So here are my 2 dots. If I were to put my hand here, you can see how far apart they are compared to my hand, like the length of my hand. And then I'm going to create like a thin oval shape. I'm using a charcoal pencil, which is kind of nice because it's darker than a regular pencil, but you can go ahead and use your own pencil, okay, what you always use for drawing. So there's my oval, and then I'm going to draw the bottom of the egg, which is kind of a curve, like a bowl, bottom of a bowl shape. I'll make it a little taller. So as most artists will tell you, you press lightly with your pencil just to get that line tested out, and then when it's a line you really like and you're sure you want it, then you can make it darker and press more firmly, add more pressure with your pencil. Okay, and I'm erasing the lines I don't want. So there's my bottom egg shape, and then I'm going to start drawing another oval. And what this is like, think of the top of a box, like a lid of a box. This is the top of the egg, and it's kind of hanging just like the lid of a box, like a hinge. So here's my next oval shape. Or you could have put some dots here just to place it, but I went ahead and just did the oval. And now I'm going to do the top part of the egg that's opened up. So I'm just tracing my hand out and just testing it out. And now as I like what I'm drawing, I'm pressing a little harder. So there's the top of my egg. All right, now what I'm going to do is start drawing the dinosaur's body. So my baby dinosaur has a long, skinny neck, and its body kind of gets a little thicker towards the bottom. So he's kind of popping out of this egg, right? And here's that neck, and here's part of the body forming. Kind of like a, I don't know, part of a cone, but we're not finishing that cone shape. Now I'm going to draw another oval for the head. If you want, just test it out with some dots, just place it. So maybe I'll make the dot a little farther out because I want a big head. Okay. So there is my head. Now I'm going to get started with the eyes. So my first eye is like an oval here, and then I'm going to do some overlapping, so there's part of the eye showing just behind it. I'm going to erase this line because I don't need it anymore. Okay, now I'm going to put the little dark pupils and the dark part of the eye here. Now I'm going to get the mouth. So I want a goofy dinosaur smile. This is a, I'm going to say it's like a brontosaurus. So this little guy does not eat meat, so he's not going to have any teeth, all right? Now I'm going to make a nice long tongue. Really goofy tongue, super long, past his chin. Erase the line. And now I love this face. Okay, I'm pretty happy with it. So that's my little dinosaur shape, the head and the neck. Now he wants little, I want little legs popping out, or feet. So to get the feet, I'm going to do a curve right here. But it's going to extend or go past this line that's part of the top half of the eggshell. Okay, so I'm going to do a little curve going down and in, and then kind of make a line going to close it up. You see that? So it's like a, so now I've erased that. So you have kind of like a curve going in, or spiral, okay? And then here's the bottom of the foot. Now he has to have the other leg sticking out, poking out of the shell. So I'm going to draw like a triangle, one line here, one line there, and then close it up, or maybe more like a cone, right? We've been talking about geometry shapes, 3D, three-dimensional shapes, so we have like a cone here, and then here's the bottom of that foot. So he's really poking out of that shell. He's ready to pop out. Okay, now I think I'll add a little bit more character to, oh, let me get rid of this line. I don't need that. So I basically have all my shapes set for this little baby dinosaur, but the shell is just too perfect. This is a dinosaur egg, all right? So we want it to be all cracky and rough looking, not at all like a chicken egg, right? So let me work on the shell a little bit. I'm going to make these lines really rough. So make them jagged, make some cracks going into it, okay? And then just make it a little cracky looking, okay? And you can get rid of those smooth lines that you don't need. This is where it's helpful if you want to make it light. Make these lines light and it's easier to erase. And then let me do the same thing to this edge of the eggshell too. Make it all cracky and jagged. So it's not smooth anymore. Do the same thing all around this egg, all right? So cracky and jagged lines. If you find that these smooth lines are a bit hard to erase, you could try to add some shading in the end, and I'll show you how to do that. So there's always a way around trying to fix things to make your art work for you. Even if you make mistakes and you're like, oh, that's not the way I wanted it, you can still kind of work around that. Okay, so this is jagged. Let me add some cracks here. So here's a crack, here's another crack. I'll add some cracks back here too. Okay, now I'm going to add some, maybe, I know like, maybe actual like, not that dinosaurs had hair, because that's for mammals, but it's sort of funny to have that. Maybe he's wiggling a little bit, so here's some motion lines. He's trying to get out. And then add some shadow, because he's a dinosaur, probably with, he's a reptile, right? I don't want smooth shading. I'm going to make it pretty rough. So I'm just adding some lines. If you cross them like this, it's called cross hatching. So it gives it a rough kind of texture to this dinosaur. I'm going to add some shadow under the chin. Maybe under the mouth just a little bit, and under the eyeballs. Okay, so he has plenty of shadow. Now I'm going to add some shadow under the egg, or just to the left side of this egg. So I'm just doing some lines really close together, and then I'm going to make some cross hatch lines going the other way. So it crosses over. So this is a pretty good technique to use as an artist. They use cross-hatching all the time to add shadow or add shading and value. And then let's add some shadow to this inside part of the eggshell. Okay, now don't forget this part. So this is going to be the light part of the drawing on this side on the right. And the left side's going to be darker. So let me add some cross-hatch lines on this side of my egg. If you want it to be a smooth eggshell, you could do that too. You could just shade really finely like this, what I'm doing. That's okay too. Okay, so it kind of looks like this egg is floating in the air, so we need to anchor it, right? Give it some weight. I'm adding some even more shadow to define it some more. Oh, don't forget the feet too. These need shadow. Yes, just like that. Okay, let me lighten this up. Don't quite want too much shadow under the eyes. Okay, now let's add some shadow under the egg so it looks like it's sitting on the ground. Maybe just a little bit of, I'm just suggesting some other ground, maybe some, I don't know, a tree back here. Just suggest it, okay. Some plant life. If I had room, I would try to draw the mother dinosaur too. That would be fun. But anyway, there you have it. This is my little baby dinosaur, and I hope you give this a try. And room 17, you have an awesome, awesome day, and I will see you next time.